on Waustralia 20! From the News Network Waustralia, welcome to this edition of the News on Waustralia 20. I'm Clarence Ponsler. Let's talk about Google Plus and YouTube for a moment. I signed up and joined Google Plus yesterday using a different password than I've been using for my YouTube account. But when I signed into YouTube this morning, I realized that my Google Plus password was my YouTube account password as well. I did have some login error messages stating that my password was incorrect. So I have to give a "You Suck" shout out to Google Plus, YouTube, and Google because the passwords and the accounts that associate with it can get a bit confusing. And there have been some rough moments on the 19th day of the month before, which is my date in the month in which I was born. In January, some guy flipped the middle finger at me while I was trying to go to my physics class because I cut him off in an intersection. In April, personal things went against me. And now this. I hope things really turn around on June 19th and things finally go my way big time. Let's talk about the official news on the Waustralia 20 website and its remodeling. For a month now, this website has been refreshed thanks to my big brother Mike because the old website had a virus and it would not work. Even editing would not work. But notice the fantasy region name and city name has been changed to Waustralia. So I'll take you back to my main page. And notice we have a brand new News on Waustralia 20 logo. So kudos to the logo. And here's why. They could the official news on Waustralia 20 website update. Cut. This guy, this computer generated guy in this Wibbits summary of website video has pronounced the city name Waustralia and the old region name Waustralia incorrectly. So I've been using apostrophes to alternate the pronunciation, and it worked for Waustralia, but it didn't work for the old Waustralia. You'll see this in a few seconds. Strong thunderstorm advisory, May 6, 2012 videos. Clarence Ponsler reports that Waustralia. Okay, did you hear that? They were pronouncing Waustralia. No, it's Waustralia. I was using the pronunciation similar to a Spanish speaker in honor of like an alternation of another city name in which I went to in 2007. It's in the tropics. It's far, far away from Indiana. And I explained that in a much earlier YouTube video and in a much earlier post on my website. It will be revisited again later this summer. Now, I won't explain about the Australia part much in this video. I will talk about the criteria though. The revised region name had to spell out, starting with a W, 3 syllables long, and be about the same pronunciation for all test speakers. So, for example, Spanish speaker would say Waustralia, U.S. English speaker Waustralia, Australian English speaker Waustralia. Now, again, I won't explain much about the Australian ending. You can see this for yourself on this post on the website. But it does spell out a proper place here on this planet. This spelling, the last non-letters of the spelling of the revised region name, and I'm going to show you Google Images proof, spells out a real place, a real continent, a real country here on this earth. It's called Australia. Here's the flag of Australia, here are the maps, and even a few pics. Now, I wish I was Australian, but incidentally I was born in America. But if I were to live or visit any country in the world outside the United States, Australia would be the #1 pick because they're more friendly. The Aussies are more friendly and more united than in the U.S. And it's a unique country to visit. I love Sydney. Sydney is one of my favorite places here on the planet. Every year I watch the Sydney Harbor New Year's fireworks shows on YouTube. So I would love to visit Sydney one day. So this concludes the newscast portion, and let's give a 7-day forecast for the state of Indiana. As promised, I'm going to do the weather forecast for Indiana for the next 7 to 10 days. Currently, it is mostly sunny to partly cloudy right now throughout the state. Currently, it's 84 in Lafayette, 82 in Indy, where they have air quality alerts, and the Indy cars are going around IMS for pole day. See who's on the pole. 83 in South Bend, Fort Wayne, and 86 in Evansville. We're going a few degrees higher before we cool down tonight in the low to mid-60s under mostly clear conditions. 63 Lafayette, 64 Indy, 63 up in South Bend. Tomorrow, it's going to get hot. Typically what you see in June and July. It will be under mostly sunny to sunny conditions with highs in the upper 80s. 89 in Evansville, 87 in Indy, 88 in Fort Wayne. More locally in the Monticello and West Lafayette areas plus surrounding counties. It is currently mostly cloudy to partly cloudy conditions, where it is 84 in Fowler, West Lafayette, Monticello, 85 in Coconut and Peru, 85 also in Rensselaer, 87 up in Winnemac. We're going a few degrees higher for the remaining hours of today. 88 West Lafayette, 87 in Monticello and Peru and Winnemac, 88 also in Kokomo and in Fowler. Tonight, again, like the statewide forecast, mostly clear, mid to upper 60s, low to mid 60s actually. And then tomorrow it's going to get hot. 88 area-wide, but in Winnemac where we'll hit 89 under partly cloudy to sunny conditions. And then the extended forecast for West Lafayette, Monticello calls for a cold front to go by through the area late Sunday night through Monday and the wee hours of Tuesday morning. Highs are going to go from the 80s to the 70s before we have a few more days of sunshine. Highs in the 70s, low 80s, overnight lows in the middle to upper 50s before it gets hot and humid just in time for the Indianapolis 500 next weekend, where it will hit 92 on Sunday, the 27th, here down in West Lafayette. And then from Monticello, it will hit 90 degrees that day. So for people who are going to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, bring the coolers, bring plenty of non-caffeinated, non-alcoholic beverages, and plenty of sunscreen, a hat, because you'll need it at the track, and most importantly, have fun. This concludes the weather forecast portion of this broadcast in the News on Waustralia 20. Hope you enjoyed it. YouTube, Google Plus, I apologize for saying you suck, but that's who you are. You're a conglomerate where the accounts can be confusing to log in. And that's it for the rest of you. That's it for this edition for the News on Waustralia 20. My sponsor saying have a nice day, or even if it's not time, goodbye.